Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to cover my top 5 tips on how to run a sub 45 minute 10k, and I'm going to do it whilst trying to run a sub 45 minute 10k. Just on my warm-up, so I'll get this warm-up done, and then as I'm doing the 10k I'll check in with my 5 top tips probably every couple of k and see if I can do the top tips whilst I'm doing the 10k. So quickly, just a little bit of context. Those that follow the channel or have watched for a period of time, you probably know that the 10k isn't my favourite distance, has never been my favourite distance, and to this day still probably remains one of the distances I struggle with the most. Yeah, I find it the hardest one in terms of balancing that speed, endurance, and kind of pacing it correctly and getting my fitness to a level where you can do it well. I think it's one of the hardest distances to kind of master. So yeah, just for a bit of context before I start the 10k, my first ever 10k was back in 2013, I believe it was, maybe 2014, and I ran a 61 minute 10k. I managed to do the first 5k in 24:45, and then do the maths, I had a shocking second 5k, never unprepared, but yeah, my first ever 10k was 61 minutes. And as of today my PB is 40 minutes 33. So yeah, I've made quite a bit of progress over the years. I'll put my progression there. You can see my 10k PBs each year over the various years. But yeah, so I made a bit of progression. I'm just getting to the start of the 10k, so yeah, hopefully today I can impart some of my tips and opinions on how I got quicker over the years. Let's go on this 10k and I'll check in every couple of k. 2k done. I'm going to try and keep these short and sweet, these tips, because I am working. But as I mentioned earlier, the 10k is all about speed and endurance. You need to work on speed and endurance. So first tip, start doing intervals at above 10k pace and start doing longer intervals. So 1 mile, 2k's and 2 miles. Start doing sustained interval work, running it slightly quicker than 10k pace. Get used to running at that faster than 10k pace to work on that speed, and also about working on holding that speed for longer. That's tip number 1. Oh, see you in 2k. Okay, 4k done. Next tip is hill work. So it's a weakness of mine, and I used to find 10k running quite fast and quite far, but hill work improves your lung capacity, your heart rate, stroke volume, improves your leg strength, lots of different things. If you get used to running quite quickly up a hill, suddenly the flats feel so much easier. So yeah, if you don't already, start to implement some hill work into your training. Don't have to be too big or too far, just do a little bit of hill running, a rep up a hill quite fast, 7, 8 out of 10 for effort, and have a walk or jog back down. Start slowly, 2, 3, 4 reps, and build up to 6, 8, maybe 10 reps eventually, and that will help you, like I said, all those different facets, help you become a stronger, fitter runner, which will translate into your 10k pace. So that's tip 2. See you in 2k. Okay, 6k done. Starting to get tough now. 6 to 8 I find is a big window in terms of mental strength. But yeah, tip number 3 is cadence. So that's steps per minute. If you have a cadence below 170, whilst running a 10k, do your best to try and get it up. Working on cadence is just getting that turnover a little bit quicker. You can do it in short bursts, on an easy run or a steady run. Just focus for maybe 100 meters, 200 meters, 1 minute or 2 minutes. Focus on, like I'm now, picking your feet up, turn them over a little bit quicker. The more efficient you are, the higher your cadence, and vice versa. The higher the cadence, the more efficient you're running. So yeah, work on cadence, increase your steps per minute, especially if you're below that 170. 170 plus is seen as more efficient and more ideal. So yeah, check your cadence when you're running, especially at a 10k effort. If it's below 170, get it up. Oh, 8k done. So tip number 4 is threshold. I've done a recent vlog all about threshold running. But yeah, threshold, obviously, if you're trying to run a 45-minute 10k, then obviously it's slightly slower than 10k pace. But again, running in that threshold zone helps you run at a pace where you're efficient, you're using your lactic acid for energy, and your body gets more efficient at flushing that lactic acid out. So when you're 10k running at faster than that pace, hopefully you can get a bit further into that 10k before that lactic acid starts to build up and you start to deteriorate and slow down. So the fitter you are at threshold running and threshold pace, the faster you'll go at 10k pace. So yeah, threshold training is tip number 4. Okay, that's 10k done. Diesel's on screen, I lost track a little bit, but I think it was low 44s. I think I was about that. I'll put diesel on screen for confirmation, but yeah, pretty sure it was a 44 low. But yeah, tip number 5, and this is probably my probably the top tip. If you're only going to take one tip from this whole video and you disregard the other 4, this is the tip I would recommend the most. Yeah, and that tip is pacing. So this is my biggest mistake I made for years and years, especially around the 5k and definitely the 10k, where you a lot of runners do it. But yeah, pacing, you get too optimistic, you set off at a too fast a pace, and then the whole second half of the race, hence that 61 minute, my first ever 10k, I was unprepared, I was untrained. But to run a 24:45 in the first 5k, and then what's the maths, I did a 36 37 minute second 5k, like I wasn't even close to running anywhere near that pace. So yeah, it's all about pacing. For me, as I've learned over the years, if you're getting to halfway or you're getting to the 5k point and you're working it higher than like a 6 out of 10 at the 5k point, you're probably going a little bit too quick. For me, the first half of a 10k should feel steady, like you're just steady plodding along. You're still working, you're still moving, but you shouldn't feel like you're overexerting yourself too much. And then if you get your pacing right, the second 5k is when you start to work and you start to feel a bit more of a discomfort. Like I said, if you get into 5k and you're really working hard at the 5k 6k point, you're in for a whole host of pain and discomfort for the second half of that race, and more than you probably needed to do. Like I say, it's better to negative split if you can, so set off even slower than you think you probably should do. You can always pick up a bit of time in the second half. If you set off too fast in the first half, then you're probably going to lose all that, if not more, in the second half. So yeah, pacing is probably the top tip. That's the one thing I started to implement more into my 10k running. So they're my top 5 tips. I'll recap them all there. But yeah, implement some of them into your 10k training. Let me know in the comments what paces you're running at 10k at the minute, and if any of these tips, if you utilise them and they come of benefit to you, let me know. If they're beneficial and you end up getting some improvements in your 10k, they've definitely helped me. All of them, I've implemented them all gradually over the years, and every one of them has helped me make little incremental improvements in my 10k, and all of them together will hopefully help you as a runner improve your 10k time. But I'll wrap it there. I'll drop some more hints and tip vlogs in the coming days. Thanks for watching, happy running, and I'll see you all on the next one.